Hello and welcome to vlog number 2 for the collaborative vlog series. Today's vlog is going to be a little less formal than the last vlog that I released for you guys, just because today is more of a briefing and more of a summary and a tie-up to everything that's occurred over the last couple weeks and since the last vlog that I released for you guys. Since today is September 20th and tonight is the opening night of Halloween Horror Nights, I wanted to give you guys kind of a good tie-up going into opening night tonight so that we have kind of an understanding of everything that we've received over the last few weeks with these emails. So that's kind of why I wanted to do this, just to make sure that everybody's kind of on board going into opening night tonight, considering that if you don't move fast with this organization, you're going to be way behind come a few weeks. So for this series, I'm going to go ahead and go through the emails that we've received over the last few weeks just to give you a really good tie-up of everything that we know as of right now. I'm going to go over what the pictures are, who they include, what we think the badges could mean, perhaps more reasoning to why those things exist. So over the last few weeks, we've received a total of 8 emails from Legendary Truth, 7 of which containing information that is extremely important to us. Of course, we did receive the welcome email, and with that welcome email, basically it just welcomed you to the collective, let you know that information would be forthcoming for the next few weeks, and that this information would be vital to your standing within the organization for the weeks to come. It seems that we're getting more of a history lesson kind of this year, and we're getting information on where Legendary Truth started, how it got to where it's at, and maybe perhaps the future of the organization. I think that having that knowledge will be crucial because it's really going to play into how well do you know Legendary Truth. I just want to start this out by saying, forgive me if I butcher a few names in here. I speak English, I don't speak Italian, and so I might butcher a few of these names moving forward, so please forgive me if I do. So let's move on to the first email that we received. Within that email, we have a picture of Francesco Melzi. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And he was a student and a companion of Leonardo da Vinci. We go on to learn in this email that Francesco had a son and his name was Orazio. And Orazio didn't have the same appreciation for Leonardo's works that his father did. These masterworks of Leonardo da Vinci got passed down to Orazio, and because of his lack of appreciation for the works, the masterworks got put onto the black market. And because these documents didn't stay within the Melzi family, they became open to anybody. Anybody could have bought these, anybody could have had their hands on them. Because these documents were so accessible, the building of the complex was made possible. And the location of this complex was chosen due to what was outlined in Leonardo's folios. So within this email, we also have a picture of a badge, and that badge is dated 1979 and says groundbreaking. Now we are to assume that that refers to the groundbreaking of the Legendary Truth Mansion. So perhaps this is the year that construction began on the complex, that is referred to as well in the email. So now we move on to email number 2. In this email, we receive a picture of a book titled The Codice del Palazzo Spiritual. This translates to The Book of a Spiritual Palace. This email confirms that email number 1 was referring to Orazio Melzi and his lack of interest for the masterwork, and also goes on to confirm that he was indeed the one who disposed of Leonardo's works in a sense. This very codex that the email refers to happens to be one of the very things that Orazio disposed of. In this email, we also have another badge, and this one is titled The Mansion, is dated 1981. This most likely is referencing the completion of the complex that is referred to in email number 1. Now on to email number 3. Within this email, we find a picture of Michelangelo. Just like Da Vinci, Michelangelo was also a well-known artist and an architect as well. Both are considered masters. The complex is referenced in this email and is described as a fusion of many different types of buildings or complexes. This email goes on to explain that the complex was, in a sense, divinely inspired, and it contains architectural perfection. These definitions, in a sense, go on to suggest that the building is secluded and its purpose is spiritual in a way. The email also goes on to say that the codex inspired devoted collaboration by its owners. The badge within this email is dated 1991 and says that field investigations began. This date just so happens to coincide with the first Halloween Horror Nights, and in a sense could allude to the fact that Legendary Truth has existed as long as Halloween Horror Nights has been running, not just beginning in 2008. Now on to email number 4. The man pictured in this email is Jules Hardon Mansart, and this gentleman is a renowned French architect. This email goes on to confirm that the Codex Phasma Phasmatis was indeed in the hands of Michelangelo. And we also go on to find out that it has indeed been touched and refined by a long line of artist priests, religious scholars, and ecclesiastic architects, Michelangelo being the first of these. In 1708, the codex becomes part of a much coveted collection at the, and I'm going to butcher this, Église du Dôme. Here, important additions are added to the design of the codex. As with all of our other emails, this one also has a badge, and this one is titled Breakthrough and is dated 2006. This goes on to suggest a major advancement perhaps made in the year 2006. Within email number 5, we meet a man named Christopher Wren. The email also goes on to confirm that Jules Hardouin Mansart did indeed have his hands on the codex at one point. Rumors suggested that he edited the codex in collaboration with a master English architect and a bitter rival. But the two rivals put aside their differences to work for the greater cause. And this collaboration was done in secret. Christopher Wren and his student Nicholas Hawksmoor were contemporaries of Mansart. The badge within this email is titled The Device, and the year is 2008. Within this badge is an image of the very device that many Legendary Truth, the collective operatives, scanned themselves with in 2008. Now within email number 6, we meet two gentlemen, one of which is Archibald Alexander, and the other is Jean-Baptiste Rondelet. It would appear that the codex fell into the hands of Jean-Baptiste and then shortly after was put on the black market and was bought by Archibald Alexander. The badge in this email is titled The Incident and is dated 2010 and likely refers back to the incident of the releasing of fear by Legendary Truth operatives in 2010. Email number 7 goes on to refer to a Princeton architect who we discover is Ralph Adams Cram. I believe we are to assume that this is the gentleman who designed the very mansion that these emails have been discussing, as well as has been referenced through Legendary Truth for its entire existence that we've known of. It mentions that he tried to add it to the University of Princeton but failed, and perhaps this explains why the mansion is so close to the campus. Ironically, he became preoccupied with deciphering all of the notes and everything that was held within this very codex, and perhaps this is why we are starting to familiarize ourselves a little bit with cryptography. The badge within this email is titled The Dark Portal and is dated 2012. And of course, we are to assume that this refers back to the releasing of the Legions of Horror that Legendary Truth investigated in 2012 and subsequently refer back to the very thing that we're investigating this year in 2013. As far as email communication goes, this is all that we have received from Legendary Truth. I think kind of in a way to kind of wrap this up and to kind of explain why I believe we've received these emails, it's shown us how this codex started and how it was passed down along the line and subsequently ended up in the hands of somebody ironically from Princeton. Now, we haven't discovered if that's exactly who did this, but it just seems a little ironic to me. And perhaps this is Legendary Truth's way of teaching us where we started from, our very roots, and where we're going. Because up until this year, all we really knew of Legendary Truth was what we learned in 2008. And even then, the history wasn't that vast. It only went back just a few years. But with these emails, we're learning that Legendary Truth perhaps existed a lot longer than we've ever known. And I find this kind of interesting as well. Me and some other collaborative staff as well as members have started to find out that we are finding that lions exist in a lot of these people's coat of arms, and everywhere we go, we've been able to find a lion somewhere down the line that ties into every person that's gone back into the email. Now, this could be a complete coincidence, but I do find it kind of ironic that the Legendary Truth logo is indeed also a lion, and we keep seeing lions now everywhere popping up over Universal. Now, these are very things that could have always existed, and I do realize that lions are a big part of architecture, especially dating back to the dates that some of these buildings within Universal were built. Also, as kind of a summary going into this evening's event, we have discovered and found all of the clues that Legendary Truth had left around different props and different exhibits, for lack of a better word, at the media preview. We did find out after media preview that Legendary Truth had hidden codes on different things, yet nobody had found them that evening. Through photo evidence, we were able to discover these codes, and we were able to find a few of them. Thanks to Miss Ballung nudging us, though, we were able to find the rest of the clues that we didn't discover. So I was able to find a clue the other night during the Halloween Horror Nights employee preview. I did find it on one of the clear props. It was very tiny, it was very hard to find, but I did end up finding it in the end. However, I had a feeling that the last one would be found on another clear prop. However, I couldn't find it anywhere. But thanks to Miss Ballung sending us the last piece of photo evidence, we were able to decipher and decode the last clue last night, giving us a total list of 18 found, confirmed, and solved. You can find a full collection of that, as well as all of the pictures and locations of all of the clues over at the collaborative forums. Also, one last thing to note going into tonight's event. We have heard word from Rick Spencer that we will be able to register for our RFID cards this evening. I'm assuming it will be very similar to what we did last year, and we will be doing that at the Wheelchair Rentals. We did just receive a few pictures shortly ago of the gargoyles sitting out in front of Wheelchair Rentals, so I have a good feeling that that's where we will be registering for our cards this year. However, the difference is this year the cards will cost $6, but if you are a frequent Fear Pass member, you can sign up for a sticker that is complimentary. It's free, no charge to you at all. That will go onto your frequent Fear Pass that you will use during the event. However, like I said, if you do want the card, it is $6 and some change for that card. If you pick that up over at the Wheelchair Rentals, you will be able to scan them this evening, leaving some of the houses, as I have found a bunch of scanners outside of the houses as well during the employee preview. They do look very cool, definitely step up from what we did have last year during Horror Unearthed. I believe that about covers it for this vlog. I just kind of, like I said, I wanted to use this as a wrap-up to kind of wrap everything going up into the first night tonight, just to make sure that we all have a good firm ground on what we're going into, what we're looking at, and what we could be seeing coming in the coming weeks with Legendary Truth. Be on the lookout for more vlogs to come, especially once we get into the thick of things with the event and the Legendary Truth games this year. I really appreciate you watching. Hopefully this gave you a good idea of everything going into opening night tonight. Everybody have a wonderful opening night here at Halloween Horror Nights. I will be seeing you there this evening. Once again, thank you for watching. This is Collaborative Staff, signing out.